Welcome to the Brad J. Show with your host, legendary professional announcer, Brad J.
Yes, indeed, the Brad J. Show, effective for your April 5th, Cinco de April. And Brad J. and Damiana, my daughter, here with another show. Show number 3. How you doing, Damiana?
I'm doing good. I'm super excited. That third show, we got more coming for you guys, too.
Okay, let's talk about subscribe on YouTube and on Spotify for the weekly show. And talking about the weekly show, I did a little work.
Okay, what'd you do?
I went and found out the numbers, what we've done after 2 shows.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So after 2 entire shows, we have a whopping 17 subscribers on YouTube.
Woo woo! Oh,
I think that's good. 2 shows.
That's awesome.
It's only going to take like 50, 60 more shows to get that over 100.
Yeah.
63 followers on Instagram.
Okay. Instagram, we see you.
Facebook, 989 follows, but that's cheating a little bit because that's always been my Brad J page, so it's been converted to the Brad J Show. So
Okay.
just to share that.
We'll give you a pass.
X, formerly known as Twitter, 7 followers.
Oh, okay.
That surprised me. I had no idea.
There
Okay.
we go.
All right, today on the show, weekly rant is something I'm trying to add to the show. It's something I'm just going to rant about, and I'm going to rant about this. My wife has said to me that I dress like a slob sometimes.
She's told me that, too, about you.
That I dress like a slob.
Yeah.
So this is like an intervention that they had with me on slobness. And she says that back in the day, I used to take more time on how I would dress before I'd leave the house.
You would. You would definitely take your
Why are
time.
you disagreeing with
Because
everything
it's
she
true.
said?
Because
That
I was
sucks.
there.
As just a little kid. But yeah,
I still remember.
she says like I'm wearing Crocs too much.
You know, I don't really have a problem with Crocs. So I can't really agree with her on there. I think they're fun.
Look, they're
I
not
think
even
they're cool.
Crocs. They're actually Knocks, I call them, because they're knockoff Crocs from Kmart. So there you go. So I'm trying a little harder. The hat's not stained. The shirt might have a little bit of lint, but this is from an event, Rincon Classic, so I feel like I've changed it. So
No, you did good.
there's my rant. I deserved it. My wife was right. My daughter's right. Don't go out of the house. Don't dress like a slob. Dress good. Okay, time for the trippy news of the day, and I had to really hunt to find these, but the gathering of the Kyles is taking place in Kyle, Texas. This is coming up on May 18th. I am so excited about that. And if you are a Kyle watching this show, May 18th, you need to be in Kyle, Texas, because they are trying to break the world's records for the most people named Kyle to attend Kyle Fest.
That's just, you hear something new every day. And what do they got? I'm sure they got to have cases of Monster Energy drink because that's kind of a stereotype associated with Kyle's. What else? What else they got there?
Are you really? Did you just go there?
Yeah, I did. That's
Kyle's
a Kyle
associated with-
stereotype.
okay,
Monster Energy. Yep.
So Kyle, Texas, May 18th, you need to be there because Guinness is going to be there. Guinness Book of World
Oh my
Record, 1
goodness.
p.m. The previous record, there's a record for this. The previous record was the Ivan Fest. That happened in 2017 in Bulgaria, where 2,325 Ivans showed up.
You said 3,000 something?
2,325. So
Okay.
Kyle, they need to have 2,326 Kyles show up to take that record. Austin, Texas tried it earlier in the year for the Ryan Rodeo, and that attempt fell short. So
Okay.
that
Well,
didn't
let's see,
work out.
Kyles. You guys got to show up, and we'll see if they can break the record there.
There you go. So the Kyles have it right there. Trippy news for you. Story number 2. Lego is pissed at the Murrieta Police Department in California.
Ooh, what did they do?
Don't make Lego mad. The Murrieta Police Department has been using Lego heads to cover people's faces and post on social media, and they've been doing this since 2022, I think, or 23.
Now, did Lego just catch on, or
They've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
Okay, they've been doing it for a while, and just if they're going to put these mug shots on social media, they would put a Lego head on there, and there'd be different Lego heads, like the unshaven dude, the construction guy, like all that, right?
That's interesting.
Lego's had enough. They told them to stop doing it, and the Murrieta Police Department is going to stop doing it. So there you go. They're not going to do it anymore.
Okay.
And this, I really didn't want to cover this one, but
Uh-oh.
It was too much. A Vanderbilt student calls 911 over a tampon toxic shock panic.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Did you see any of this?
I have not heard about that. No.
There's a viral video where they're staging a sit-in at Vanderbilt in Nashville, right, at the college. And one of the girls calls 911 and says her friend needs to remove the tampon. But the problem is they are in a sit-in. So they're protesting at a sit-in. So at a sit-in, you don't get up to leave. You're sitting in.
Right.
So it defeats the purpose if you're doing a sit-in to get up and leave.
So she got toxic shock.
Well, the 911 operator really wasn't having it, saying that you need to. It actually has to be your own personal emergency or something like that, which is not true because if you witness something, you're going to call 911 and tell them what's going on, right? But so the whole thing broke up when they started arresting students and suspending them, and they stopped. So here's my whole thing on that. Look, I'm not trying to. The only stand I would take. If you're going to protest and you're going to protest a sit-in,
prepare yourself.
Yeah, you might want to just maybe before you go there, go to the bathroom. You know, like when your parents would tell you, did you use the potty before you go in there? Hey, did everyone use the bathroom before we
go
on
a long road trip?
Even if you're a college student, I would think you would know that.
Yeah. No, you should definitely know that.
There you go.
Use your head a little bit.
There you go. That's Brad J's, the Brad J Show, trippy news for your Friday, April 5th.
The Big Three. The biggest news in the sporting world. Go big or go home.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Damiana with the Big Three. Our first story today, we're going to be talking about him again, Shohei Ohtani, or should I say Shohei Gate? Because we've been talking about him almost every episode now. It's started to turn into Shohei Gate.
He's making a lot of money, so he's in the media. A lot of stuff's going weird, so it's for a good reason why.
Yeah, and he's making some noise with these gambling accusations. So some new information has come out regarding Shohei Gate since last week. Apparently, Shohei's name was on all of the payments sent out to pay off those gambling debts. The interpreter is trying to claim that Shohei willingly let him use the money to pay off his gambling debts. So he's claiming that him and Shohei had a little conversation. Shohei said, yes, you can use my money to pay off your gambling debts. He signed off on that and he takes it. Shohei now is completely denying that. And critics of the interpreter also aren't so sure. Shohei put out a statement to the press before one of the games at the Los Angeles Dodger Stadium last week, stating, I've never bet on baseball or any other sports. I have never asked anybody to do that on my behalf. I have never gone through a bookmaker to bet on sports. Up until a couple of days ago, I did not know this was happening. So he's denying these claims.
Okay, well, I mean, that would be pretty hard to, it's pretty hard to convict a guy on this thing. First of all, I mean, you say the name's on there. That's kind of a tough call, but, I mean, this just sucks to have this happen at the start of a baseball season, and then you're having this kind of tout the
especially because especially because he had so many praises going on in the media. Everybody was singing his praises, saying good things. Now he's a little mixed up in this. But he went on to say that he only found out about these gambling debts being paid off while he was at the season kickoff in Korea just a couple of weeks ago. And that he would never agree to pay off any debts or pay off of any bookkeepers.
Well, he hasn't been doing really good as of yet, but he's starting to come around, so we'll see if that affects his play. All right, what else you got?
We'll see. He just wanted to wrap up with that. He said, in conclusion, I do want to make it clear I never bet on sports or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker. To summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm beyond shocked. It's hard to verbalize how I'm feeling at this point. So he's sounding to be a little hurt by what's going on. Well, very confused.
It's hard for him to verbalize. He doesn't speak English.
Well, that was translated. To backtrack, he did make this statement in his native language, and he has a new interpreter now. Okay. So that was interpreted to English. All right, so our second story. I know I made a joke on one of the episodes about not wanting to talk about women's sports.
Yeah,
but
you did say something, yes.
We do actually have a good story this week, so let's talk about it.
March Madness is in full effect.
Madness is in full effect. The Iowa versus LSU women's basketball game drew in over 12.3 million views.
12 million? 12.3, that's a lot.
12.3 million. That surpassed the 9.9 million from last year's championship game, which featured the exact same two teams.
Wow.
Yep, it has become the most watched college game ever, men or women's.
Boom.
So
Mic drop.
a little shocked right now.
Yeah.
So for
As well. That's where you should be.
yeah, a little shocked. That number, it's not just the most watched college game ever, men or women's.
Give me some numbers.
That beats out all but one of the men's March Madness tournaments,
Okay.
all but one NBA Finals game, and all of the World Series games.
My goodness.
That
Look at the numbers. And why? And why? Because isn't there a phenom that we're going to talk about next? Who's this person that's attracting all attention besides the two teams?
So Caitlin Clark, who,
Yep.
fun fact, this is actually the only women's basketball player that I have ever heard of. You know
Yeah.
those man on the street videos, they ask people to name women's basketball characters? I would fail at that, except I would get one. I could get Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
She actually scored 41 out of the 97 total points that were scored at this game.
So nearly half the entire points of the team.
Yeah, so she's kind of on fire right now, for
Yeah,
sure.
she's going to look at the numbers. That's never been done. 12.3 million. That is big time. So good stuff right there.
Yeah,
That's a
was
good story. I like that one.
Yeah, so congratulations
Yes.
to her. We like that. For our third story, this one kind of has to do with you. I've heard that you have officially signed the contracts to go to the Paris Olympics this summer.
You know I put her up to this too, right? I had to. Yes, official. It is definitely official. Olympic Broadcast Service is the company I ended up working for, and I'll be doing some TV commentating for the Olympics in Paris. We'll be there at the broadcast compound. Not sure what I'm going to be doing. Tokyo, I did surfing, I did canoe slalom, and I did BMX freestyle. So I'm not sure what they're going to give me.
So we're not sure on sports you're going to be
No.
announcing this summer?
I have no idea yet.
You're
I'm
hoping for some
I mean, I have an idea. I'd like to get skateboarding, yes.
Yes.
But we'll find out. And then we'll update you as shows, as we get thicker into the season with our shows.
Yeah, and when are you going to that?
I'll be leaving here probably, I think, almost on the exact same date of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight on July 20th.
Okay.
I literally think I'm leaving on the 20th, the day of that fight.
Maybe you'll be able to catch it on the plane.
I am so ready to watch that fight.
And are you also going to be doing Paralympics? Because
Not-
that happens right after Olympics.
You know, within when I was out there for Beijing, I didn't find that out till towards the end of the Olympics. So sometimes they'll just end up asking you, and you're out there. Right now, I'm not signed on to do Paralympics, but I've done a bunch of them in the past, and I hope I get to do those too as well. So,
All
hoping,
right.
fingers crossed.
Well, good to know. That's it for all we have for your big three.
The Brad J Show Rewind. Time to rewind the clock with this week's Brad J's Rewind.
And yes, indeed, the Brad J Rewind, where we take the clock, rewind the clock back, and just some favorite sports moments that I've been through, or just moments in general, Olympics, X Games, or whatever. This one, Damiana, is awesome.
This is a great one. I'm excited for it.
This is a good one. Yeah, this goes back to the year would have been, I think, early January 2018. The Olympics were going to Pyeongchang in South Korea, and Shaun White was competing in the halfpipe finals, and Shaun White ends up getting a perfect score. This is behind the scenes, and if you watch Cinemax right now, if you go to Cinemax and watch the Shaun White story, you get this same audio, but you get it from out on the course. But this is behind the scenes footage, like you're not going to see this anywhere else. Right here, Shaun White's perfect 100. Let's watch it.
Never before seen.
It comes down to this. If he can beat a 94.5, he'll take third. A 96.25, he'll take number two. What does Shaun White come away with on this one? It comes down to this. The final score. A perfect 100! Are you kidding me? A perfect 100! A perfect 100! Oh my goodness! I've never seen anything like it!
So I've always thought there's no such thing as a perfect 100.
Let's watch Shaun here.
As close to perfection as anything I have seen in half-pipe.
Yeah, baby. There you go.
You are the man. Back on top. Back on top.
That
Today
is
is Shaun
awesome.
White's day.
You were so stoked there. Like, just you could see the fire that you had, the energy that you had. You were so happy because a perfect 100 that had never been done before, right?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it had. Shaun
Okay.
Shaun had done it at X Games too. So
Okay.
that was two of them that he had done. But that one was important because that sealed the deal for him to compete in Pyeongchang, and he goes on to win the gold medal for Team USA and his final gold medal that he ever won. So that call right there. is cool. And what you said, go to the Cinemax, and watch the Shaun White story, and you'll see the shots from out in the pipe of Shaun reacting to the audio there. Great, love that. Brad J Rewind. Big props to Mark Sullivan, right there from the Mark Sullivan, of course, in DC out there, and then we also had DJ Naka G was in there too, as well. So the Snowboard Project is what Mark does on the podcast. So stoked to have those dudes along, do tons of events with them, and that right there, your Brad J Rewind.
It's the Brad J Show Birthday Roast with Damiana. Who needs marshmallows when you've got birthdays to roast?
Here we go, time again for the birthday roast. This time the birthday roast for your April 5th, 2024. Let's get into some birthdays here. And Damiana, I'm looking at the birthdays, I'm thinking to myself, she's not going to know any of these birthdays.
Seems like we deal with that pretty much every episode. You always choose the oldies. I
Wait,
don't know.
how old are you, first of all?
24.
Yep, and I'm way old. We won't go into that. But so she's not, I feel like every time I do this. All right, let's get into it. Booker T. Washington, you've heard of him, right? He was born in 1856 on this day. Education pioneer, first African-American on the U.S. stamp. So
Okay.
there's Booker T. in the house right there. Betty Davis, 1908 she was born. Have you heard of the name Betty Davis?
I have heard of the name Betty Davis
Yes.
because Taylor Swift covered a song
Of course.
called Betty Davis Eyes. It was about Betty Davis. It was kind of a tribute
yes, because
to her.
who does the song? She's got Betty Davis eyes.
Yeah, that was the song she covered.
Yes.
Yes.
So there you go. So you knew one. There you go. In
I know
1908.
Betty Davis.
Man, 1908. So she's been passed away a while now. Frank Gorshin was born on this date in 1933. Frank Gorshin was the Riddler in the original Batman series that was on TV so many years ago. He was awesome, the Riddler. Dave Holland, 1948, he was born. Who's Dave Holland, Damiana?
I don't know.
No idea. He is a member of Judas Priest, the band, Judas Priest. Okay?
Okay.
Now you know.
Okay.
Stan Ridgway, born in 1954 on this day.
I don't. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm letting everybody down right
He's
now.
probably going to eat a barbecued iguana today on his birthday. Why? Because he's a member of Walla Voodoo, who sang that song. Eat a barbecued iguana, you know the song.
You've lost me there.
You haven't heard the song?
No.
And then Kid in Play was born on this date, 1964. Rapper. He was also in all those original 90s rap movies. House Party, I think is what. I'm hoping.
I know that movie.
Okay,
House Party.
yes, we win one. We won.
And they've redone it now too.
Yeah.
There's a new one that has more the newer rappers, but I remember the
newer
old one.
And that is your Brad J Rewind right there for Rewind. No, that's your Brad J birthday roast. Sorry, my bad. Your Brad J birthday roast effective for you April 5th.
This week in history on the Brad J Show.
This week in history, or this day in history, let's get precise
All right.
on everything right now. Back in 456, okay,
Okay.
St. Patrick returned to Ireland.
That's very wholesome.
456.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
We should probably. When did St. Patty's Day start? Can you look at that? Look,
Yeah.
let's search this up.
Let's look
So
this
St.
up.
Patty's Day. So if he, let me see, St. Patrick went to Ireland 456, which is a long time ago. Then I would think St. Patrick's Day would probably have started 1700s or something like that. Interesting. Let's see. All right.
1631.
1631. So it took
That
a long
was the
time.
year. It took a while. Took them
Over 1,000
over
years.
1,000
Okay.
years.
Before he got recognized. There you go. 1621 on the state. Mayflower returned to England after dropping off the peeps out there, Plymouth Rock.
All right.
So they'd returned on this date. Can you imagine the people returning going, oh, man, why didn't I stay?
I
This
should have
sucks.
stayed.
I'm going back to the clouds and the weather. No, I'm just kidding. Some people live there and they like it. I know. Some friends of mine actually live in the UK.
Okay.
1764, British Parliament passes a sugar tax on the American colonies. So they're over there in the Americas, and they put a sugar tax on them. That probably wasn't too nice. They didn't like that.
What does that even mean?
That amount of sugar that you just be taxed.
Oh,
So
okay.
people would have bags of sugar, and There you go. It's a little different nowadays.
Yeah.
1792, the first presidential veto happened on this date. George Washington
Ooh.
was the one who did it.
Okay.
And it was a bill to add more congressional seats to the northern states. And he said, no.
He didn't like that. Don't
He
give
didn't
them
like it.
northern states more power.
GW stopped it right there. And on this date, 1987, Married with Children debuted.
Never seen it.
But you've heard of it,
I
right?
have heard of it. I have heard of it.
I was worried that she had not even, yeah.
Don't worry. I've heard of it. I've just never seen it.
1989, I was actually at one of these games. Oral Hershiser, his streak ended at 59 scoreless innings back in the day for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1989, because I was living in San Diego, and we went to a Padre game where he started, and it was somewhere in the middle of those scoreless streaks right there. 2016, on this date, Drake has a single, One Dance, is named Song of the Year. Do you know that song?
I know that song. One
Yes!
of the most annoying songs that I have ever heard.
But it was named Song of the Year, so that's probably why it's really annoying.
It was repeated on the radio. I remember that. I mean, seriously, every 30 minutes that year. It was, how could you not get sick of it after one day?
And on this date, 2022, Shanghai lockdown for China for COVID. They went zero tolerance in 2022 on COVID. And I will tell you right now, I was there during the Beijing Olympic Games during that time, and we were swab tested every single day. I think for 45 days in a row, we were tested for COVID. And if you
Crazy.
thought you would miss, or if you weren't there and got your COVID swab by like 10 p.m., they would call you in your hotel room and say, "Come down now. You must get your COVID test." So it was crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
You rode in the bus from the hotel to the broadcast compound, and you'd see outside Beijing, but you weren't allowed to get out of the bus. You had to get to your place. So it was a trippy situation, but it was fun. Nevertheless, love doing the Olympic Games. This week in history, that is in the books right there. Thank you for being part of it. Big thanks to some people that I really got to give thanks to, and one of them needs to be LibTech and GNU.
Awesome companies.
Snowboards. LibTech also makes surfboards too as well, but they have been providing my family and me with snowboards forever. I don't know if the higher ups know that, and somebody might get fired over this, but they've been hooking up. Even when you were a kid, all our snowboards, where'd they come from?
I've always ridden LibTech or GNU snowboards for sure. Every single one that I've had.
Big thanks to LibTech and GNU for all you do. Bones Wheels, Rob Washburn of Bones Wheel, thank you. And Pal Peralta Skateboards, worked for them for a few years. Love them. They're always so kind to me. They do so many good things. Appreciate that. Pit Viper. Pretty fired up on the whole Pit Viper scene right now. They've been hooking me up as of recently.
He loves his Pit Vipers.
Dig the flip ups. You do too, don't you? Pit Viper, big shout out to you guys. And then who else? That's it. The rest of the crew right there. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. That's going to do it. Show number 3. Final thoughts. Go.
I think that went really well. I think that with each show, we're just getting better and better.
Okay, well, enjoy. Check it out. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Spotify, and like on Instagram, and also the X, formerly known as Twitter. That's the Brad J. Show for April 5th. See ya.
See ya.